Hello, fellow warriors, loyal followers, all of you struggling with whatever your issues, conditions, and so forth might be. Thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm Megan, the faithful fibromyalgia warrior, and today I am just feeling so very lucky, so blessed, and so joyful. I just had to share that with you guys. Now, I'm going to say this and take it as you will. But today, especially at this moment, I feel as though, wow, you know what? God is good. In fact, He's great. I just feel like I must celebrate. I made that up. And it's true. I am feeling hopeful and joyful today. There's no magic pill. There isn't. I take a lot of pills for managing my fibromyalgia pain, for helping with my chronic back pain. I take pills for my thyroid to make it function properly. I take medication to keep my cholesterol in check, which you reach a certain age and sometimes it just becomes inevitable. I'm 49. I'm happy to be 49. I am. I know 50 is going to be a huge, big deal. I remember, thinking that 50 was ancient, and now, what is it? People say 50 is the new 40 or the new 30 or whatever that means. I don't know. Does it matter? Not especially. No, not really. It doesn't. It really doesn't matter all that much. But what I do know, what I am certain of, what I am thankful for, what I am grateful over, is the life I have. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Of course it isn't. I've made many mistakes. I struggle with an addiction to shopping. I struggle with an addiction to carbs and sugars. I also struggle with an addiction to the behaviors and patterns that go along with bulimia and similar eating disorders. Now, I get up every day and I look for strength. And for me, that's from God. For people who don't have that sort of a faith in God and Jesus, it's, they're often told in different gatherings, different rooms, a God of their understanding, whatever helps them realize that they cannot overcome their addictions by themselves. And the thing is, whether it's something that can be as physically destructive as, say, drugs and alcohol, or whether it's something that can become emotionally and financially destructive, like gambling, shopping, eating disorders, addiction to foods that cause our body harm, like for me, sugars and carbs in excessive amounts, binging and purging, all of that. I couldn't stop it by myself. If I could, I would have done that. I had bulimia for 30 years. For 30 years, I was bulimic, as well as having periods where I was severely restricting my calories. And I tried to do this whole move more, eat less. And for me, it didn't work because what I was fueling my body with wasn't enough. And it was the wrong things to be fueling my body with. I am, and I say this without any hesitation, I know that God used His Holy Spirit to guide me to discover the ketogenic diet. That I realized in May last year, when we came out of I guess it was our second lockdown, I needed to do something. My face was puffy and swollen, and I felt horrible. And yet, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't work out because of all my other physical challenges and my limited mobility. And how was I supposed to lose weight? And I knew I had to get healthier. I was carrying almost 60 pounds more than my body was ever meant to carry based on my frame, my age, and etc. And while it started with trying to follow a more paleo approach, I quickly realized that was going to make some of my other gut issues far worse, which it did. And instead, I went on to YouTube and I discovered the ketogenic approach, which is very low carb, moderate protein, and higher fat. By comparison, not loads of fat, but by comparison. And it took me a little while. There was a whole bunch of different YouTubers and influencers who are all about what is keto. And through that, I discovered, there's something called carnivore, which is the ketogenic approach, but it's meat-based. You've basically gone essentially zero carb. Now, I keep my carbs as low as I possibly can. And I know that God put the idea of the ketogenic diet approach in front of me for a reason. I had to learn about what is intermittent fasting, or what are eating windows. What does that mean? And there was some scientific videos out there, and some doctors who had videos out there that I watched to learn. Could this possibly help? Because I had to reset my metabolism. The thing is, I spent so many years not eating or restricting my eating so significantly that it affected my metabolism. And the fact that my thyroid was also not working properly made it worse. Things were not being absorbed into my body and processed the way they should have been because of the fact that my thyroid was underperforming. But when I was started on the thyroid medication in March last year, honestly, I didn't see any difference at that point because I didn't realize that my food choices were causing the issue. And in particular, the starches and carbs, all the fruits and vegetables that I enjoyed, which, as much as I loved them, I knew there were some I couldn't eat because they set off my IBS. So as much as I love the taste, my poor guts did not enjoy trying to process fruits or vegetables, even the ones that are deemed safe for IBS, like sweet potatoes or regular potatoes when they're mashed, baked, that type of thing. I couldn't do it. I love carrots, couldn't do carrots. Couldn't do leafy greens or any of that. And I worried at first. And eventually I came to see that these starches, these carbs, the body doesn't require them. We do require certain fats, and we do require protein. Animal protein being preferred, being the best. Now, you can get it from fish, you can get it from poultry, but it isn't, you get a lot more out of animals, four-legged creatures that, you can cook and eat the meat from them, and you've got the healthy fats that come with that meat, like a nice fatty sirloin, some really nice tasty fatty ground beef, which is what I have, eggs or yolks in my case, because can't handle the egg whites, egg yolks, bacon or sausages. That's what I put together, and I cut out the carbs. I just cut out all the carbs and starches, and once I did that, my body was no longer hanging on to all this water weight, and basically that was God working. I was losing weight, and I did lose the weight. I lost 55 pounds for sure. At one point, my weight was so high, I just couldn't bear to get on the scale any longer. So I was either at somewhere between 175 and 180 pounds. And I'm 5'5". That's not healthy at all, But over the next few months, over the next 4 months, I lost 45 pounds, and then the final 10 pounds I lost in the run-up from October to Christmas last year. And I managed to keep it off. Managed to stay on the ketogenic approach. And I realized, after watching some of these different YouTubers, once I had the information I needed see how this way of eating worked. And seeing it work for me, I felt like, well, I don't really need to watch their videos because I agree with them and it worked for me. So I don't need to follow them necessarily because they're not bringing out any new information. For me, the video that I think helped me the most, as far as medical experts were concerned, was Dr. Eric Westman and his white coat videos, where he explained what is now called the ketogenic diet. It was also referred to as the low-carb diet. Low carb, moderate protein, higher fat, meaning the fat that comes with the meat. So fatty cuts of ground beef, streaky bacon, because that's where you got the fat, and it tastes better anyways. Chicken with the skin on, turkey with the skin on, any bird that you're cooking with the skin on. That's what that was referring to. And that can include, obviously, fish if you like it, which I don't. It's gross, because there's good omegas in there. And for people who can tolerate vegetables, have some, which would be things like broccoli, asparagus, leafy greens. And none of those agree with my body at all. I enjoy the taste. I do not like the after effects, so I don't eat them. We don't have to have them. Our body is quite happy to burn body fat and or, the fat that we consume with our protein. And it can convert it then to glucose for the brain. We don't need carbs. But I'm off topic. What I realized is that as I was learning the things that I don't actually need to have, because they're not requirements by the body, and what things I do require, which is proteins from animal meat, and that includes, or animal products, so limited amounts of full-fat dairy. I'm lactose intolerant, so it doesn't apply to me, but that could be for some people a couple of tablespoons of cream in their coffee. Coffee has 0 carbs in it. There's no carbs in coffee whatsoever. Coffee substitutes, like the chicory ones, have like 6 grams of carbohydrates in every teaspoon that you put in to make it. Whereas real coffee, real instant coffee even, 0 carbs. And since I'm lactose intolerant, I have my coffee with almond milk, with 0 sugars, 0 sweeteners. So it just goes in, gets nice and frothy. You sort of shake it up before you pour it in. Anyways, that's me. When I eliminated the things that were hurting me instead of helping my body, I felt so much better. My mind was clear. My brain fog was lifting. It's not gone completely, believe me, but it's lifting. And I was able to then turn around and focus back on God, who I had missed desperately in a relationship, not just okay, God, thank you, but to actually talk to him, pray to him, have that personal relationship with him. And that has brought me great joy. And God is good, because I know God is looking after me. Because we have a house, we have food. I have 2 wonderful young adult children who always ask if I'm okay, want to make sure that I'm doing well, very considerate, help where they can, and it's wonderful. Doesn't mean there are no trials, because there are. There are trials, there have been, and there will be again. COVID certainly hasn't helped, but I feel overjoyed because I know God is helping me. The other day I went into one of my favorite little cafes for an Americano, brought my book that I'm reading, brought my phone and my headset, and I was just listening to some some instrumental jazz music while I was reading. And then I finished and I was getting ready to go, to head back home. And this older woman, whose name is Linda, she was talking to me from a couple of tables over, and she said, "Are you okay?" I guess I must have looked like I was upset. And I said, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm great. Are you okay?" And she said, "Oh, I'm so anxious." And she'd just been at one of the local community group gatherings, just a few units up from where we were. And she said, "Oh, I have severe anxiety. I just wish it would stop." And I was able to say, "Wow, you know what? I have that too, but I found ways to manage it." And she asked me, "Oh, what do you do?" And I told her, "Well, I take sertraline, which is an antidepressant, and it's an anti-anxiety medication. I also take gabapentin, which is supposed to help block the signals, the pain signals in the brain, so that my muscles don't feel like they're on fire constantly, which is a symptom of fibromyalgia, for those of you who don't know." So between the gabapentin and the sertraline, my brain doesn't send out as many signals, at least to certain parts of me, that I'm in pain. However, in spite of the medication, I still deal with major anxiety. You know, as I said, my children are young adults. One's 21, my other son is 18. You know, they have their friends, they have whatever they like to do all day long. But if I don't hear from them, I suddenly start to panic. I get anxious, like, "Oh, where are they? Are they okay? Is everything fine?" Meanwhile, you know, the one who's like, "Yeah, no, I was at the park. I'm on my way home. What's up?" The younger one, it's like, "Mom, I told you I'm going to be with my friends, and my phone just died. That's all." You know, but they're good. They keep in touch. They know I worry. And when I explained to her, I said, "You know, I get it because I deal with it too." And I was able to just say, "But you know what? I pray. I pray every morning. I talk to God and I ask Him to help me." And she kind of looked at me like, "Oh, really?" I said, "That's just me, but I pray. And it makes a huge difference." I said, "You know," I didn't go into specifics about the ketogenic diet, but I told her that I'm on a special diet that helps me with reducing my pain and my inflammation and my brain fog, and that helps me to focus, and I pray to God for help every day, and that helps me get through my times of anxiety. It doesn't mean that anxiety isn't hovering there, but I'm learning how to trust more and trust that God is going to help. Now, for those of you who maybe don't have that faith, you know what? Think of it as when you feel anxious, try to think that there's something out there greater than you, even if you're not ready to believe in God. And there is something greater than you. And that you don't have to do everything by yourself. You know, I know people who are in recovery for alcohol or for drugs, and that's what they're called to do in their gatherings and their meetings, is a God of their understanding. So whatever that means, whatever they believe in or look to, something higher powered than them. They don't have to do it all by themselves, and it's amazing. For me, the higher power is God, and it will be always, I'm sure. But you know, trying to help my sons get through this time in life where they're trying to find work, or my older son, he needs supported work with his autism. He's pretty high functioning, but he needs help with certain tasks, and he needs to be supported. So it's a bit of a challenge for him at the moment, with my younger son encouraging him to find work, and he wants to, but he's going through some challenges of his own, and so depending on the work, some of it is a bit overwhelming for him, and therefore overwhelming for me, because as his mom, I worry. I want everything to be okay. And then I had to stop today and realize, even when there are challenges, it doesn't mean God's not there and He's not listening. It's just whatever's going on, it's for a reason. So I don't necessarily have sorry, I don't necessarily have any specific tips or anything as far as the ketogenic diet. My two favorite YouTubers of all time, at the moment anyways, on this topic. The first one is Casey Durango, and her handle is Go Keto with Casey, Casey. And the other person I highly recommend that you follow is Sarah Kleiner, so Sarah with an H at the end, and then Kleiner, but her YouTube handle is Carnivore Yogi. And they have some really great videos with really cool information and also just life experiences. You know, my younger son, I love him dearly, and he's waiting to be referred for some help. He's got ADHD, and it looks as though he might be bipolar, and so we're trying to help him ride out the ups and downs until he's finally seen by somebody. So that's been not only hard for him, but of course hard for me as his mom. But I would say, I know that God is going to work out something fantastic. I have great hopes for their futures. And I don't know. I know it's not super keto, this particular video, but I just felt so inspired by the online church service I joined today, and just what was said and what was shared. And I just, you know what, made me realize how much I have to be grateful for. And I had to pay it forward, if you will. And I hope this video is encouraging to you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you will want to share it with as many people as possible. You know, there is a song that a band called Ministry. Now, these guys are industrial heavy metal, okay? Just clearing that up. That called Jesus Built My Hot Rod. It's a cool song, okay? But in this case, God gave me keto, and he helped me get my life back. And so that's why I'm mentioning both, because I know for a fact that God led me there. Nothing happens by coincidence in this life. I don't believe in that. I believe everything happens for a reason. So, having said that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope when you finish watching the video, you'll give it a like. Please go ahead and subscribe and share with as many people as possible. Also, before I forget, my book that I wrote, which is a fiction book, Christian romance, it is on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited, and it is called Darby, A Tale of Faith and Healing. Hope you guys have a chance to read it and tell others about it. I'm not trying to make any money from this. I'm so grateful for the life that I now have. I want to give back. I want to try to help and share with as many of you as possible. So, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for your amazing support. Thank you for always being so supportive of all my videos. And I hope this one encourages you and that you share it with whoever you can. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. I will see you in the next video.